Jenna never had time for fancy restaurants. As a single mom working 2 jobs, she was usually too tired to notice much around her, until that night. While delivering takeout to a crowded downtown bistro, she saw him, a tall man in an expensive suit sitting alone, shoulders slumped, staring at a glass of untouched wine. The woman across from him had stormed out minutes before, loudly announcing to everyone that her blind date wasn't rich enough for her taste. Jenna hesitated, then walked over, sliding the receipt onto the table with a kind smile. "Tough night?" she asked gently. The stranger laughed softly, surprised anyone cared. "Something like that." Jenna didn't linger, she couldn't. Her babysitter was watching her son, and every extra minute cost money. But before she left, she added, "Whoever she was, she didn't deserve your time. Don't take it personal." Those words stayed with him. Because he was rich, in fact, he was the CEO of one of the city's largest firms. What he wasn't was understood. For weeks afterward, her kindness haunted him. Not the glamorous rejection, but the waitress with tired eyes who still found room for compassion. And when their paths crossed again, by chance, or maybe by fate, he knew this time he wouldn't let her just walk away. Sometimes, the most extraordinary love stories begin in the most ordinary acts of kindness. Jenna never imagined her small act of kindness would be remembered. Life for her was simple but hard: early mornings, double shifts, and rushing home to tuck her 7-year-old son, Liam, into bed. Her dreams had been put on hold the day Liam's father walked out. Survival came first. Meanwhile, Daniel, the man in the suit, couldn't shake her words. As CEO of a billion-dollar company, he was surrounded by people who wanted something from him: money, influence, status. Yet one overworked single mom, who didn't even know his name, had given him something no one else had in years: genuine kindness. One evening, fate intervened. Jenna was covering for a coworker at a late catering job. To her shock, the event was hosted at the grand headquarters of Weston Enterprises, Daniel's company. She nearly dropped the tray when she recognized him standing near the stage. Their eyes met. He smiled, not the polished CEO smile plastered in magazines, but a warm, familiar one. "It's you," he said softly, walking over. Jenna flushed. "Sorry, I'm just working tonight. I'll stay out of your way." But Daniel shook his head. "No. Please don't. You don't know how much I owe you. That night, you reminded me what matters." Jenna didn't know what to say. She was just doing her job, being polite. Yet to him, it meant everything. In a world of boardrooms and high expectations, Daniel had never felt lonelier. Until Jenna's words had given him hope. That night, for the first time, he asked nothing as a CEO, but everything as a man. "Would you let me buy you coffee sometime?" Jenna almost laughed at his offer. Coffee? With a CEO? She wanted to say no. After all, men like him lived in skyscrapers while she scraped by with overdue bills and a second-hand car that coughed smoke every morning. But there was something in his eyes, something human, unpolished, that made her pause. "Coffee doesn't come with strings, right?" she teased lightly. Daniel smiled. "No strings. Just 2 people talking." So they met the next morning at a small cafe near her apartment, the kind of place Daniel had never stepped into before. He traded his tailored suit for a simple sweater, hoping to blend in. Jenna wore her thrift store jacket, hair still damp from her rushed shower after the night shift. They talked. About Liam's obsession with dinosaurs. About Daniel's childhood before money became a burden. About dreams, hers of becoming a nurse one day, his of living a life that didn't feel so staged. For Jenna, it was strange. He didn't brag about his wealth or power. He listened. And he laughed, real laughter, not the polite kind she saw from customers. When the clock reminded her she had to pick up Liam, she stood quickly. "Thank you for the coffee, Daniel. But you don't need to do this. I know your world isn't like mine." He looked at her, almost wounded. "That's exactly why I want to." For the first time, Jenna realized this wasn't pity. It was something deeper. Something she wasn't sure she could risk, yet couldn't ignore. Weeks passed, and their meetings grew into a quiet rhythm: coffee before work, walks in the park with Liam on weekends. Daniel adored the boy, crouching on sidewalks to admire chalk-drawn dinosaurs, listening intently to Liam's endless facts about T-Rexes. For Jenna, that was the real test. Men had smiled at her before, but few cared about her son. Yet Daniel did, wholeheartedly. It softened her guard. Still, doubts lingered. One rainy evening, as she folded laundry in her tiny apartment, Jenna whispered to her sister on the phone. "He's a CEO, Anna. I'm a waitress. This isn't a fairy tale, it's a trapdoor." But when Daniel showed up unannounced with takeout and Liam ran to him shouting, "Mr. Dino Man!" Jenna's heart cracked open just a little more. Later that night, Daniel confessed. "I've been to galas with chandeliers worth more than this whole building, Jenna. But nothing compares to this, sitting on your floor, eating noodles with you and Liam. For once I feel home." Her breath caught. No man had ever said that to her. She wanted to believe him, but fear tugged at her. "Home is messy, Daniel. It's bills, tantrums, exhaustion. Not champagne nights." He reached for her hand, voice steady. "Messy sounds perfect. Because it's real. And that's all I've ever wanted." For the first time, Jenna wondered, maybe this wasn't a trapdoor. Maybe it was a doorway. The real turning point came months later, when Jenna's car broke down on the way to work. Stranded on the roadside, Liam shivering in the back seat, she fought back tears. Her boss had warned her, "One more late shift, and you're out." She didn't call Daniel at first. Pride screamed louder than desperation. But when Liam coughed, she dialed. Within 20 minutes, Daniel's sleek sedan pulled up beside her. He didn't scold or pity her. He simply bundled Liam in his coat and said, "Let's get you both home." At her apartment, Jenna finally broke. "This is why we don't belong in the same world. You have drivers and chauffeurs. I can't even keep a car running." Daniel cupped her face, his voice fierce. "Stop. You think I care about cars or status? Jenna, you showed me kindness when I was just a man sitting alone. Not a CEO. Not a headline. Just a man. And I've been falling for you every day since." Her tears turned to quiet laughter. Because despite every reason to push him away, she believed him. That night, Daniel stayed, not as a rescuer, not as a CEO, but as a man who wanted to build a life with her and Liam. It wasn't perfect. It was messy and real, with burnt dinners and bedtime stories, with boardrooms in the morning and park swings in the afternoon. But it was love, the kind born not from riches, but from kindness. And sometimes, the smallest act, a poor single mom telling a stranger, "Don't take it personal," is what changes everything.